I send my loving greetings to the Cauvery and to the gathering on Interrogating Cauvery Calling. Rivers and trees have amazing relationships. Water and trees have a relationship. In fact, my entire ecological evolution began with the Chipko movement, where the women of our region in the Garhwal Himalaya came out and said that forests are not timber mines. They are sources of water, they're sources of pure air, they're sources of stabilizing the very fragile Himalaya. Their slogan was, "Kya hai jungle ke upkar? Mitti, Paani aur Bayar. Mitti, Paani aur Bayar, inse aata hai jeevan." Because at that time, the scientific forestry adopted from British colonial forestry was about forests being timber mined, trees being cut, forests being grown as plantations to be extracted for revenue, resin, timber raw materials. Chipko changed the paradigm. It also created the contemporary ecology movement of our times. Ever since that time, I have dedicated my life to the environment, to forests, to trees. In 1980, suddenly Bangalore and the entire floodplains catchments of the Cauvery were being overtaken suddenly by eucalyptus monocultures. I used to be in IIM Bangalore in those days, and it puzzled me. So we did a study on the ecological audit of eucalyptus plantations. The villagers were talking about how eucalyptus plantations on farms were destroying crops, food security, water security, wells were going dry, tanks were going dry, but of course, for the landlords, it was a good way to get out of the land rights, which had said those who till the land for more than 7 years have title to that land. This was the Urs Amendment, Devraj Urs Amendment. We realized the World Bank came in with huge money. They had destroyed the forests anyway, and now they wanted raw material for the pulp industry from the farmlands. They called it social forestry. We created a global movement to stop timber mining being forced on the farms which produce our food security. And in Indian agriculture, in agroecology, farm trees and agroforestry has always been a steady source of ecological security for farming in fragile areas. We have the neem, the beautiful neem, embracing our office right now. The neem, which was for me the solution and alternative to tragedies like Bhopal. I started a movement, no more Bhopals, plant a neem. We don't need pesticides that kill 7,000 people in one night, 200,000 across the world every year. Because this beautiful tree, in its oil, in its leaves, it's called the village pharmacy. It is not violent, but it does control pests. My grandmother used it, my mother used it. And then 10 years later, we find it has been patented. We fight the case for 11 years against the neem biopiracy, and we defeated the world's biggest superpower, the US government, which jointly held the patent on neem with W.R. Grace, one of the biggest pollution criminals who had polluted the water outside Boston. And this then became the subject of a film. Today, the issue of trees, the environment, our water is quite clearly the big issue concerning us. But it would be wrong to continue the timber mine logic of the British colonialism, of the World Bank social forestry, and now call it Cauvery calling. We cannot destroy our farmlands by planting commercial trees. Every write-up I have seen on Cauvery calling talks about planting commercial trees to cut them. Farm trees aren't cut. They give us neem, they give us sesame, they give us the pongamia, the honge, the coconut. We have no dearth of biodiversity on this land, and we have no dearth of economies beyond the market, beyond commerce, beyond commodification. It is time now to reclaim our rivers as our living mother. Our ecological civilization gave us that culture, that ability to think that the earth is living, our rivers are living, the soil is living, trees are living, forests are our mothers, rivers are our mothers, and forests in the catchment create the rivers. That's where native natural forests need to be protected. That's the true relationship between rivers and trees, not commercial planting on farmland, repeating the social forestry blunder, and destroying both the land, the farms, the farmers' livelihoods, and the river. We need to rejuvenate our ecological civilization. We need to defend the rights of Mother Earth. We need to defend the rights of our small farmers. We need a model beyond the market. It has brought the world to a brink between climate catastrophe, species extinction, the water emergency, as well as the emergency of toxics everywhere, driving bees, insects, everyone to extinction. We cannot have a handful of people thinking they know when they've just started to learn what the environmental issue is. I'm so glad you're meeting so that all the love in the hearts of people, all the intelligence in the hands, in our trees, in the minds of people, from the smallest peasant and the woman, all the way to the scientist, we can all come together to rejuvenate our rivers, to rejuvenate this beautiful land.